Hey guys, today I have what should be a really wonderful recipe. This is a healthy version of a very easy clam chowder. This is straightforward, nothing weird in this. Like I know I've done some other recipes with corn and whatnot, but this is just regular clam chowder. There's a lot of prep work to it. It's on the expensive side just because of the clams, but it's better than a restaurant, it's cheaper than a restaurant, and it's even cheaper than buying canned soup. So it's not that bad. There's a lot of veggies in this, and we do have a ton of chopping to do. I have 5 russet potatoes, and again, this is going to make right around 2 gallons, maybe closer to 1.5 gallons. I got 5 big russet potatoes that I am going to peel. For this particular recipe, I do not want to have the color or taste of the skins. So, and then we're going to fine dice them. We don't want any big chunks in this. We're going to fine chop 2 whole stalks of celery and 5 nice big white onions. We're going to use a good bit of garlic, and I have some thyme and some bay leaves. That's going to be our main seasoning. A little bit of salt's going to go in it. We're going to use our all-purpose flour here as a thickener, and the main base is going to be fat-free milk. We don't need any extra cream in this one. It's going to have enough flavor on its own and be thick enough with the flour. I've got 4 little jar or can bottles. That's it, bottles of clam juice, and that is going to be supplemented by all the juice in these cans. I have 24 cans of chopped clams. You've got 3 different size clams out there, and of course, the bigger they are, the more expensive they are. You have baby clams, which are the biggest chunk. These are in the middle, chopped, and then you have smaller ones, which are minced. And chopped are what you want to use for clam chowder. They give you just the right amount of size for bites in your soup. The minced are good for flavor, but they can get kind of lost. And this is where your cost comes in. These will run you anywhere from $1.70, $1.90 per can. And for this, we are using 24 of them, so that's kind of inexpensive. These aren't cheap either. These are about $3 a bottle just for the juice. But other than that, it's pretty inexpensive. I'm doing this whole thing, I think it was like $53, I believe. I had a couple of ingredients here, but so anyway, that's not bad. I need to get chopping first thing, and I got a lot of cans to open. Do not dump out the liquid. What you want to do when you open this is pour the liquid into a big bowl, because we're going to be adding that, and then separate the meat and the juice. Okay. For the veggies, fine chop on the onion, fine chop on the celery, peel and fine dice on the potatoes. So this is going to take me probably a good 20-30 minutes to do all that. See you in a bit. Alright, I finally have all the veggies chopped. This is just some of the onions and the celery underneath. I got the potatoes diced. And here's the rest of the onions. So the first thing we're going to do is saute the onions, celery, salt, and garlic. Need to heat up the pot here. I'm just going to use a little bit of olive oil in the pan. Let that heat up and get the veggies in. I'm putting in about 10 cloves worth of garlic. Be about 3 big spoonfuls here. If you're not a big garlic fan, you can certainly cut that down. Won't hurt a thing. Alright, now we're going to saute this for, this is probably going to take about 15 minutes. We want it to sweat down, get very soft, very translucent. We don't want it brown, but we want it nice and cooked and moist, and then we'll be ready for the next step. I forgot our dry ingredients. We are going to add in 1 tablespoon of salt, and 1 tablespoon of dried thyme. Okay, we are reduced nicely. Veggies are cooked, soft. Most of the moisture is driven out. Now we can add our clam juice. Our potatoes, and the juice from our cans. I haven't finished draining them all, but here's just over half of it. I'm going to finish separating it out right now. We just need to bring this to a boil. Then we're going to simmer it for about 20 minutes to cook the potatoes. You want to throw in a few bay leaves at this point too. So I'm going to go ahead and drain the other, what have I got here? 10 cans left. And that'll pretty much fill it up. We're going to evaporate a little bit out of this. And the rest will be taken up by milk. Should have enough room. We'll see. Now we're at a nice boil. I've got the heat down to simmer, and we want this to reduce by about 25%. At least. Maybe a third. Now that we have reduced sufficiently, taken out a good 4 or 5 cups worth of water from this, so that really concentrates the flavors. I want to pick out our bay leaves if we can here. If not, no big deal, we'll catch them later. We'll leave that for now. So what we want to do now is prep our thickener and our cream base. I have 2 cups of the whole wheat flour in here, and I'm just using this big bowl because it's easy. And I need to grab my milk. Uno momento. To the flour, I'm going to add 10 cups of skim milk, and then we're going to whisk it all together until it's nice and smooth, and then add that to the pot. Now we're just going to stir this in together and bring it back to a boil. Cook it for about 20 minutes, and it'll start to thicken up, and reduce it a little bit more. Just need to leave room for our clams. Okay. Well, we're not going to get much reduction out of this. Now it's just out of room, so I split a little bit into this smaller pot. But this is ready to go. Now all we have to do is add the clams in. turn your heat off. Basically, everything is just going to come together. All you need to do now is just let this sit. The longer you let it sit, the better it's going to get. You could just let it heat up and serve it in a few minutes, but if you wait at least an hour, you're going to have a lot better flavors coming off of this. So I'm going to let it sit. It's piping hot now, and it'll stay piping hot for quite a while. I'll come back in 30, 45 minutes, check it out, and we'll do a taste sample. Alright, let's try it out. Give it a stir here. Oh yeah, still hot, still steaming. Should have some good flavors. It's got a nice thickness to it, and obviously using the whole wheat flour does discolor it, so it's not the traditional bright white. You can see a white bowl here. So there is a nutty tone to it, and I can smell the whole wheat flour. It does have a nuttiness to it as far as flavor and aroma too. It's subtle. I mean, it's not a huge difference. I don't really care about the color. I care about the taste. I'm hungry. Some nice big pieces of clam in there. Got some celery and the potatoes. Should just melt in your mouth. Alright. Get a spoon here. And try it out. Get a nice big clam. Well, it's good, but the flavor of that whole wheat flour is really kind of taking over. It has a burnt nuttiness to it. And it's not burnt, obviously, but it's a different flavor. I think it could use a little bit more salt and definitely some pepper. The texture's good. Yeah, it's not bad. I have to say I do miss the regular flour though. This is probably a recipe I won't do again, at least not as the healthy version with the whole wheat flour. Definitely makes a big enough difference where I regret doing it, and this obviously isn't cheap. But it's still good. Alright, well, take it for what it is. Maybe if you do it, try it with regular flour, try it with half and half. You know, see what works for you. But using the switched whole wheat flour definitely has a big impact on it. So there you go. There's a next version of clam chowder. I'll probably have more in the future. But yeah, can't say I'll make this one again. But it's not bad. Still better than canned. Not as good as some other I have made, definitely. See you guys next time.